Guys, have you ever been curious about what objectively has been the best season and the worst season of Fortnite? Well, something that I didn't know, and I don't know if you guys knew about this, but for anybody who doesn't know, I find this very, very interesting and wanted to make it into a video. Fortnite GG has community rankings for every single season in Fortnite, and honestly, the results shocked me. Because everybody can vote, right? So it's not just bots, it's not taking into consideration like really anything about the season, it's just people voting on what seasons they thought were the best. We're going to get into that in just a second. Before we do, though, I do want to say hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with many YouTube channels. Let's take a look over at Fortnite GG, and before we actually talk about these seasons, of course, the worst one being Primal over there, but I do want to say I didn't know about this on Fortnite GG, and I want to give a quick shout out to the Wordless Opinion podcast because I wouldn't have known about this if it wasn't for them. Go check it out. I will have a link for them in the pinned comment description down below. You got to go check out the podcast either way, guys. All things Fortnite. It's a really, really great thing they have going on over there. Anyways, of course, to nobody's surprise, and I was more surprised about the top, not necessarily the bottom, okay? Because you have Primal and Wild at the very, very bottom, just barely beating it on the percentage over here. So, of course, like I said, you can just vote on what seasons you ended up liking the best. And, again, some of these shocked me. Like, I'm really, really surprised to see Chapter 3 Season 4 right at the bottom, especially below Vibin over here. Chapter 2 Season 1 makes sense to be there. Wrecked makes sense to be there, although, like, I personally disagree with a lot of these rankings over here. For example, like, I enjoyed all of these. Vibin's probably one of my worst seasons over. Chapter 2 Season 8 and Chapter 4 Season 2 are objectively really, really good seasons, in my opinion. Like, especially Chapter 4 Season 2. Just to be sitting this far down, let's scroll up a little bit because we can see the rest of the rankings over from 16 to 20 of Chapter 4 Season 1, Chapter 1 Season X. Like, oh, I'm sorry, my face cam's covering it over there. You'll just have to take my opinion for it, guys. I'm sorry. Chapter 4 Season 1, Chapter 1 Season X. You know what we can do? I'm going to go over to my new scene over here. How about that? But that doesn't even fix anything, does it? I'm trying to become a little bit more of a professional YouTuber over here. Maybe I'll just keep switching the scenes over here. So if I have to bring attention to something over here. But anyways, you can see that Chapter 4 Season 1 and Chapter 1 Season X are in the 19th and 20th spot. Makes sense for Chapter 4 Season 1. I'm trying to think about the majority of the community over here, but Season X, man, by the way, everybody was talking about it at the time. That season really should be towards the bottom. Anyways, we have Chapter 5 Season 2, which is shocking. Shocking that it's above all of these seasons over here with the amount of complaining we've heard in Chapter 5. Chapter 1 Season 9, Chapter 4 Season 4, you know what? Those kind of make sense. Let's continue moving up just a little bit over here to 11 to 15. So we have Chapter 1 Season 1, which the vast majority of people have not played, and I can guarantee you they're just writing that. And then we have Chapter 2 Season 7. So we're getting into the top 15, top 10 seasons right now. So it's what people actually really, really enjoyed playing. You have Chapter 1 Season 6. A lot of people didn't really like it at the time, but I understand comparing it to the rest of the seasons. Chapter 5 Season 1 shocked me. Because, again, we have so many different changes. People are hating the metaverse, and maybe, just maybe, more silent. There was a silent majority that ended up liking the season. It's the only really explanation for it. But anyways, Chapter 2 Season 3, Chapter 2 Season 7, both of these make a lot of sense to be on over here. Let's continue on. Keep going from number 6 to number 10. We have Chapter 3 Season 1, Chapter 1 Season 3, Chapter 1 Season 2, Chapter 1 Season 4, Chapter 1 Season 8. None of these are shocking. None of these are shocking, except I will still say that not a ton of people probably played Chapter 1 Season 2. Let's keep going over to the top 5. You have Chapter 2 Season 2 as voted to be the greatest season of all time, then Chapter 4 OG, then Chapter 2 Season 4, Chapter 1 Season 5, Chapter 1 Season 7. That is absolutely shocking to me. I expected Chapter 2 Season 2 to be one of the best seasons. I expected it to be top 5. I did not expect it to be number 1. I expected it to be just Chapter 1 Season 3, 4, and 5 at the top. Chapter 1 Season 5, it's interesting to me that this beat out Chapter 1 Seasons 4 and 3 because, again, it's OG, and so many people seem to be blinded about which seasons were better than others because of OG, but it's interesting. It's not shocking at all to me that Chapter 4 Season OG is where it is, to be honest with you. Everybody loved that season. It was a really, really great season. Chapter 2 Season 4 was shockingly one of the greatest seasons of all time. I remember everybody, and myself included, I didn't like the idea that a whole season was focused on a collab. I thought the collab finally overstepped, but it ended up being one of the best seasons ever gameplay-wise. Chapter 1 Season 7, everybody's blinded by nostalgia for this one. I personally love this season, but man, was there a bunch of moaning and crying the entire time. Chapter 1 Season 8 also makes sense to be up there because it was a well-received season. Like, everybody loved it. Same with Chapter 1 Season 4. I personally didn't play in Chapter 1 Season 2, but I thought the game was a little bit stale. Chapter 1 Season 3, Chapter 3 Season 1. Like, this top 10, in my opinion, makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. It's just shocking to me that the order that they're in. I didn't think Season 2 or Season 4 would be this high. Makes sense for 7, makes sense for 8, which my face cam's covering. But, man, that's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. It's funny enough that some of these seasons are kind of stuck in the middle too. Like, I don't know if this is I don't know how long these rankings have been here for. That's the problem, because these just be recency bias, because everybody's been really dogging on these seasons for a little while now. It makes sense. If I would have had to guess before coming on this video, I would have guessed Primal would have been at the bottom. Then I would have guessed, I don't know, I would have guessed Wrecked behind that, and then Wilds. Chapter 3 Season 4, though, is shocking. I would have put Vibin before, like, Vibin also really far down there. Same with Chapter 5 Season 2. And this isn't my opinion. I'm trying to think of, like, what I would imagine the community ranking everything. Very interesting. It's shocking to me that some of these really good seasons are towards the bottom. Like Chapter 4 Season 2 and Chapter 4 Season 8, like I was talking about over here. These seasons are fantastic and quite well received by the community. Like, at the beginning, Chapter 2 Season 8 had some really major issues in the community, but then it flushed out and ended up being one of the best seasons ever. Chapter 4 Season 2, gameplay-wise, you can't get better. You can't get better gaming-wise, or gameplay-wise. What else do we have over here? Like, yeah, but then you're getting into, like, the better seasons over here. Chapter 1 Season X, I can't believe everybody put this far down. It doesn't shock me that Chapter 4 Season 1 is this far down, but it was a really well-received and good season. But yeah, man, I can't wait to see where this list ends up flushing out. Again, man, Chapter 2 Season 2, and I do agree that Chapter 2 Season 2 is probably a top 3 season of all time. It might be my third favorite season. If you guys don't know, my favorite season is Chapter 2 Season 7, followed by Chapter 1 Season X. Then I have issues. Chapter 2 Season 2 might be up there, and you know what I'm really excited for, guys, and I've talked about this on the channel before, is I'm very excited to, after Chapter 5 is done, I can make all of these different tier lists about seasons, because I've always stopped making, like, ranking every single weapon in Fortnite, because they're constantly adding new things. But it would be really great if I could make these videos like ranking every single POI from Chapter 1 to Chapter 5. I think that's a good point to stop it. That way, like, once we get to Chapter 6 to Chapter X, that we can just make new videos on that. So I'm really excited for that. And I just found this really interesting, guys. So let me know what you think about all of this down below. What do you think about the community rankings? What is your favorite season? I would love to hear from you down in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Guys, if you are interested, check out this video on screen right now. It is the complete guide to fixing Fortnite, where I dive in about as deep as you could possibly get. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Take care.